Alright, welcome back to Ace Attorney Phoenix Wright, or Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. In the last video, we kind of played one of our famous Hail Mary moves, meaning we just pretty much lied and said, yeah, maybe Old Bag's the killer, which we know isn't true. But now we just need to get some form of information on the two people that supposedly were also in the studio that day, so yeah. Some of the other cases in this game and in the series take place with, like, more locations that you go to, but this one, I'm just now realizing, is pretty much just the studio. But that's okay, because the studio is actually pretty in-depth, I would actually say, because we haven't gone to every single area in the studio so far. Thankfully, the tree is not still in our path. Otherwise, well, there wouldn't be anything to do about it. So here we have a new area, the Studio 2 entrance. Yeah, this looks like a backlot of a studio. And that's not usually what trailers look like. On movie sets, they're literally just trailers. So in this area, what you actually want to do is pretty much examine, I think, everything you want to examine. At least everything of note, like not, let me examine those boxes in the background. Anything that looks like it would be important, like the two there. Really perceptive, aren't you? There's a 2 here. Maybe it's because it's Studio 2. So yeah, you're gonna want to just examine all that stuff. Sometimes I wish, like, honestly, LA Noire actually did it pretty good, and I think LA Noire is a pretty bad game overall. It has some good things in it, but one thing that LA Noire does very good over a game like this is the musical cues. When you're near a clue, you know, it'll do a little... And when you're done with finding every single clue that you need, there'll be a musical cue. And obviously you can't do something like that in this, but, you know, I feel like something could be done. This is the Wii version. Maybe they could have ported, you know, in the port, they could have made it so that there's motion controls, and if you're near a clue, the controller will vibrate or something like that. I don't know. I still think the best thing that they could possibly do with this series moving forward is put it in VR. I think that would be amazing. Or make an LA Noire type game, because I still think LA Noire is the closest thing to, like, a 3D fully playable Ace Attorney game. At least in some form. You know, you go around crime scenes picking up evidence, and then you interrogate people. Those aspects of it really do make it feel like an Ace Attorney game. And yeah, I forgot to do this stuff. Just examine the flowers, and then I think you want to also examine the gate. The only difference, really, between Ace Attorney and LA Noire is that usually when you are interrogating people, you'll get exactly what you want. Like, what Phoenix is gonna say is pretty much what you've chosen, whereas in LA Noire, there's some goofy shit. Like, there's the one time where you're like, you hit doubt, I think it is, and Cole Phelps just goes, oh, you like fucking kids, huh? And it's like, what are you doing, Cole? You'll never get anything like that nonsense in this series. That's still one of my absolute favorite things in that entire game. I have to say, again, going back to the anime of Phoenix Wright, or Ace Attorney, I can never know, like, what is the title of the series? Is it Ace Attorney or is it Phoenix Wright? Because, like, Apollo Justice, I think, is Apollo Justice Ace Attorney. But then Dual Destinies is Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Dual Destinies. And it's like, huh? Why are there so many titles? But yeah, sometimes the pacing on the episodes is a little bit better. Because this whole scene is pretty much just condensed into, like, one quick scene. They just kind of get rid of a lot of it. Doesn't make the kids happy, but it makes one 24-year-old man happy. 'Cause Maya, you're great. I don't know what happens if you leave that on there. I assume you can come back and rip it off at another point. That's really the only thing that makes sense. Yeah, I was saying that before. She looks very out of place. She doesn't look anything like an Ace Attorney character. She looks boring. That was another thing, I think, in Mass Effect. Sometimes you'd pick an option and Commander Shepard would just say something completely that you didn't want them to say, which is absurd. And there's like two sides of that. Well, there's three sides of it. There's the extreme, which is LA Noire, where you say doubt and Cole accuses you of fucking children or whatever. And then there's the kind of neutral, where sometimes Commander Shepard will say something just dumb because of, you know, a Renegade or Paragon choice. And then there's the completely neutral, which is like Deus Ex, Humankind, the fuck is that? Those games? No. Human Revolution and Mankind Divided. I just combined the two titles, where exactly what the option says is exactly what Adam Jensen says, which is kind of dumb, because you're reading it there, and then Jensen says it. I'd rather what Jensen say be different from what you're picking, because then I'm pretty much hearing the same dialogue twice, which is dumb. Which is why I think this series, for the best, doesn't have voice acting. At least limited voice acting. Dual Destinies obviously started with way more in-depth cutscenes and stuff, which I very much so appreciate, but in-game stuff, I'm kind of glad that there's no dialogue. And we're about to meet one of the worst fucking characters in any video game, and I have a feeling it's entirely due to the localization. Whatever, lamers. How could you not know the great Salmonella, which is also a terrible name? I make Talit shows. What were they thinking? This was like 2002? 2003? When this game came out and got localized? He says raffle. He doesn't say rolling on the floor laughing. He says raffle. And he's a creeper. He's creeping on, This is when Cole Phelps should come in and accuse this guy of fucking kids. Because I'm pretty sure Maya's underage. And he speaks almost entirely in leet and, like, gamer talk. creative powers. There are some, like, leet speak that he says that I don't even know what it means. His dialogue there was just Raffle Lamau, which there's no context for it. Yeah, this guy's despicable. I fucking hate this guy. And like I said, it's almost probably entirely due to the localization. There's no way that this guy talked like this in Japan. He was probably just like an otaku character. Because that's what he looks like. But they made him like a gamer, like, leet speaker, which is obnoxious. Did he say sad face there? Or was it just implied that he made us, like suxors? What does that mean? So he's got a pretty solid alibi, and so does the producer. And I'm pretty sure those bigwigs never come up. So once again, all roads are pretty much pointing to poor old Will Powers. A pilot with limousine got here right around noon. Major tension, sweats. That's, you know how that's how this guy talks. Baby, like, you're all gray-haired greasers. Scowl. And I mean, at least the Steel Samurai theme is playing. But that's not a good consolation. She's got mad skills. Sometimes he goes entire, like, thoughts without saying anything dumb. And I wish he would just be like that the entire time. I love the concept of this, like, again, going back to Mass Effect, at the end of conversations, Commander Shepard will say, I should go. Whereas, in this game, you talk to someone for a little bit, and then in the middle of the conversation, you just leave. And, I have to say, I'm a big fan of that. Yep, same as it was before. Oh, I think is this the start of Phoenix kicking down doors? Because that's like a recurring joke in the series, that, like, Phoenix is constantly knocking down doors. However, we do not actually do that this time. We actually have to look for a key to get in. But unfortunately, to do that, we have to run into Old Bag. You know, a standard police issue spare Steel Samurai costume that they just had laying around. I bet you Edgeworth lent them his costume. I mean, it's not like he would be a fan of the Steel Samurai or anything. I don't know why I'm saying that. Please, like, stay to your word. I don't want to talk to you. So we're just gonna leave her be for now. I think we want to go back to the employee area. I think we gotta talk to... Oh! The hell was that? Kiddio. Man, sometimes this translation's a little odd. Kiddio. And I like how the Phoenix Wright Facebook page is, like, completely aware of how weird this, some of the changes are. They, Yeah, I think the other day was like National Hamburger Day, so they posted a picture of like noodles, and they were like, Happy Hamburger Day, which is great because every single time the characters want to go get food in this game that supposedly takes place in Japan, they go get cheeseburgers, which is not like that was a localization thing. See, I like this kid's design a lot. I don't like his face, because he looks like an emoji. And I don't know what I mean by that, but that's just the sense that I get from this kid's face. He just looks like an emoji. Also, I don't think the people who designed this kid have ever actually seen a child before. But this kid is actually a pretty good character, I would actually have to say. Probably one of my highlights in the entire level. Or I guess the whole overarching story of the Steel Samurai case. That's pretty convenient. Hopefully, that will become important later. Who knows? Just like Patrick Stewart. He's already seen everything. And then I looked into the mirror, and the clothes had just fallen off. Yeah, I think they condense a bunch of the scenes in the anime, like this scene and the last scene, and I think the next scene with the kid all happen at once, if I remember correctly, which is, you know, it's an interesting way to do it, and best way to probably save time. Wow, that's really super convenient. It's like things are just happening completely in our favor right now. See, I like that little bit of personality there. Like, you slipped it into your pocket. You didn't just take the key. They made a point to say that you slipped it into your pocket because you're taking it. And I like that little bit of personality there. You do actually have to, like, click on the door. You can't just move into there. Which is neat, but, you know, this isn't really a point-and-click adventure game, so I don't really know the point of that. If there were more points like that in the game, it would make sense, but there really aren't. Now, I don't know why, but that poster in the back with the person riding a horse, I always thought was Chun-Li. But I think it's just because of the like bad, weird resolution of the game, especially when you're playing it on the DS. It's a little more apparent on the Wii that it's definitely, most certainly not Chun-Li. Still one of my favorite things to do. Especially when the character is this aloof, they're just like, I just don't care that you're a lawyer. I don't care what this is. Please stop showing me this. Yeah, and in the anime, they actually show you, like, they pan across the posters to show you what they all are, and I can confirm 100% the one in the middle is not Chun-Li on a horse. Oh, I forgot about this. We have to do a fetch quest for her. She's not going to answer a single one of our questions until we get her script. But, let's keep pressing her. Maybe she'll break. I really love that. I love how the Steel Samurai theme starts playing and then it just fades out when you realize, yeah, she doesn't really want to talk to us about that. I would have asked a different question, like, why'd you hire that guy? Couldn't you hire anyone else? This guy is a bit of a creep. I don't know what you're talking about, Maya. Yeah, this is very video gamey. This doesn't happen very often. This is essentially a fetch quest. Yeah, don't worry, Maya. I don't like her either. But anyway, we're getting to the end of this video. Join me next time when we examine more of Studio 2 and hopefully get some answers out of D. Vasquez.